Johnson, whose mentor was Wendy Nather, who's sitting here in the front left-hand corner. The name of the talk is Dropping Hell0days, Business Interaction for Security Professionals or Anyone Else. Elliot.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. As he said, my name is Elliot Johnson, and this is my presentation, Dropping Hell0days, Business Interaction for Security Professionals or Anyone Else. We're going to be talking about how to get better at working with and talking with the business leaders of our organizations. Infosec as a community is maturing and growing fast. We have a lot of really awesome people doing some really cool things in this space, but we need more people. We need to continue to grow. There's a lot of threats out there that we know about we need to combat, but there's also a bunch we don't know about yet. So we need to keep growing our community and get stronger. This is not going to be a technical talk. Those of us that are technical need to work on our soft skills as well. Those need as much practice as our technical skills. We need to get better at dealing with the business side of things. And although the focus for this group is security, applies to anybody in IT at any level or even in your everyday dealings with anybody else. So who am I? I've been in IT for 16 years. The past 5 have been focused on security. I actually have a journalism degree with a major in advertising from the University of Kansas. And thank you. When I was in school, there was only one information security type class they offered. It was a QBasic programming class. And I took it, I enjoyed it, but that was all there was. There was nothing else. So I left school with my advertising degree and realized I never wanted to use it. And so I had to get a job. And I went to a manpower staffing agency, and they placed me at a help desk answering phones for a telecom giant. And I found out I really liked it. I like the interaction with people, I like talking to people, I like solving problems, and I liked working with computers. I was very fortunate also to have some really strong people help guide me in what I needed to do to get better. Taught me how to troubleshoot, taught me what kind of classes to take, things to study up on, and really helped me progress my career. So throughout my career, I've done help desk, desktop support, operations support, special project work, aka go get that guy that never says no to anything, and security now. And security, I've done a lot of things. And currently, I'm working for a Fortune 50 company in their IT risk and security department as the audit liaison for senior leadership, SOX IT general controls, line of business coordinator, and also vendor contract negotiator around information security and data security. And what that means is I work with a lot of people outside of IT. I have to deal with people like lawyers, procurement, other companies, vendors, and really build relationships with them as well. And the point of all that is that my background is probably similar to a lot of people my age or even older, where we didn't have formalized education programs in college. Everything we know we had to learn as we went along and kind of work our way through it. We did random things in IT just to keep getting the job done and keep growing. And along the way, I found I really liked working with people, and I liked working with technology and helping those people use it. It's possible to be very successful within our field as long as you like to continue to learn and continue challenging yourself. And lastly, you have to really want to help people. And that's why we're here, and helping people both within our community and without. And that's why we're here. So the business, let's dive into it. What is it? These are the companies and organizations that we work for that are making the products and offering the services to make our lives better. Maybe they're charities or organizations helping other people. And then the business leaders are the people in these companies and organizations that are making the decisions and driving the direction of these enterprises. That is the business. Well, why should I interact with them? I just want to show up to work and punch my clock 9 to 5 and go home. Well, I think most of us really want to be part of something bigger than ourselves, and we want to ultimately help people. And we want to make things safe, and we want to do things right. And helping the companies that we work for to do this is a good thing, and it's going to help us get there. And we need to get better at interfacing with the business leaders of our companies in order to accomplish this. So, some general personality skills, and everybody has these skills, just some varying degrees of them, and sometimes you just need to be reminded to use them. First is, don't be a jerk. We have a habit of replying to things that we think are a dumb or stupid question with flippancy or a sneer or sarcasm, and it's very off-putting for someone. As funny as Roy is, sometimes he answers the phone, you're like, come on, man, you can't do that. So Imagine if you took your car to Jiffy Lube and you get an oil change. I don't know how to change my own oil, but if I went there and they started making fun of me because I couldn't do it and then charge me money for it and make fun of me the whole time I'm there, I wouldn't go there again. I wouldn't give them money for that. Same thing when we're interfacing with the business. They don't have our skill set. They don't know what we know. So we need to have patience and we need to help them. When we're helping them, we want to make sure our interactions are pleasant. Hold a conversation with them, ask them some questions. Just make sure that interaction is helpful and it's pleasant, and they're going to remember that. Next, you want to be positive. Your outlook on a problem or an issue can influence other people, and it can be contagious. If it's all doom and gloom and you're negative all the time, no one's going to look to you for help. They're just going to say, that guy's just a roadblock, an obstacle. He's not going to help me. Let's find someone who can help. So keep a positive demeanor, encourage other people to help you solve problems, and collaborate with someone. See where it goes. Just like helpful interactions, positive ones are memorable as well. Next, it's important to have confidence. Even if you don't think you have it, you do. You want to believe in what you're saying, believe in what you're doing, and know that you're doing the right thing. All kinds of people in your organization have confidence in you. Your boss, your coworkers, your customers. If they didn't have that confidence in you, you probably wouldn't be working there. Next, you want to commit to what you're doing. Show up to your job. You committed to working there. Show up to your job and do it. Take ownership of tasks and assignments that are given to you. And when you have that ownership, tell someone when you're going to deliver it, and deliver it when you say you're going to. And if you don't know something, that's okay. Ask somebody or find out the answer, and then deliver it when you say you're going to. And then lastly, it's important to stay calm and have a thick skin. Sometimes unpopular opinions can be polarizing. People don't like them. If someone doesn't like your take on an issue or a problem, it's important to remain professional during that interaction, even if they're becoming aggressive or combative. Office bullies do exist, unfortunately. They're out there. And you're going to have to be able to learn how to diffuse them and deal with them professionally. So what I like to do is you kill them with kindness. You nod your head, you say that's a valid point, thanks for bringing it up, and you be agreeable without agreeing to anything. And when they're finished speaking, you can turn, ask a question of them, and get their intake on that, and hopefully steer the conversation into a more conversational tone in a professional manner. Does it always work? Of course not. Some people just like to bully. But unfortunately, fortunately, other people in the room are going to see how you handled it and know that it was done professionally, and they're going to take note. They're going to remember that. Okay. We know we want to help, so how do we go about engaging the business? First, we need to communicate effectively. When you're talking with someone, you want to speak confidently, make eye contact, speak clearly to them, and really believe in what you're saying. Don't mumble, drop your head, shuffle your feet. If you do that, no one's going to believe that you believe what you're saying, so they're not going to take your word for it. And someone's title or position shouldn't intimidate you into not speaking with them. No matter what level a person is at, they should be willing to take input from anybody. If they don't, it's not because of their title, it's probably because they're a jerk. So you can respect the title, but you don't have to fear it. Conversely, if you're at a management level, encourage your team to go out and make decisions and be active and give them that confidence. If you send them as a delegate to a meeting for you, let them know they speak with your voice and what you say goes, or what they say goes, and they're speaking for you, and back them up when they do that. It's important because it builds confidence in your team, builds trust in them, and it builds your relationship with your direct reports, and it goes a long way. Next, you want to know your tone when you're speaking. If you're in a business meeting, it might not be the best time to crack a joke or make a sarcastic comment to somebody. People are there to solve a problem, work on an issue, and be professional about it. Now, if it's an after-work function and you're out having a few drinks, you can be a little more liberal with your language, have some fun, build that team camaraderie, which is important. But you want to make sure you don't go too over the top, not too vulgar or rude, because you do have to show up to work the next day, and you don't want to do anything that's going to embarrass you. And of course, there's varying levels of that. Some people are really good friends, inside and outside of work, and they could probably push those boundaries a little farther. But if you're not sure, just use good judgment. Next, you want to make sure you're writing effectively. An email is different than documentation. Anything more than 2 or 3 sentences is probably just going to get skimmed over. If it's a wall of text, it's probably going to get ignored or deleted. Now, a technical document or process is different. You're going to want to have it more detailed, more verbose. Everything you can have in that document's got to be in there. And then you attach that document to an email saying, hey, Joe, here's the document you asked for. Please read it when you have a chance. The person who gets that email now knows, okay, he wants me to read it, review to him. Document's in there. I'll file that away to when I can get to it. They know exactly what they're supposed to do with it. You also want to craft your email depending on who you're speaking to. Someone who's technical like you are, you could probably use jargon and lingo that they understand because you're on the same page. If it's someone maybe in marketing or sales that may not understand the technical info, you're going to need to present that information different. Maybe it's going to be in a graph or a chart with some numbers that they can just look at it real quick, process the information, and move on. So it may be the same message, but you're going to have to convey it differently depending on your audience. Finally, listen. You learn more by listening to others than you do yourself. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. If someone is speaking, don't interrupt. Let them finish. You'll have a chance to respond. And it doesn't mean you just wait until there's a break or a pause in what they're saying so you can just blurt out whatever you were thinking in your head. No, you want to actively listen to what they're saying and respond accordingly. Conversation is a two-way street, and both of you need to participate in it. All right. Persuasion Engineering. The first thing everybody can do is smile. Show some teeth. Introduce yourself. Stick out your hand. Be friendly. These are all things we can do to garner favor with people. If you don't know someone, don't hesitate to introduce yourself. When someone sees you as a positive person and approachable, they're more likely to engage in a conversation with you, engage in a discussion with you. Dress for the part. If you're heading to a meeting with executives or other senior leaders, maybe the board of directors, you're going to want to wear a nice shirt, unfortunately some pants, a suit, a coat, or a tie maybe, depending on the corporate culture. And you want to go in because people respond to people who look like them. And so when you go into a board of directors, they're all suited up, you're going to want to do the same. Now, can some people walk into that meeting, wearing camo shorts and a Slayer t-shirt and get all the money they're asking for and leave to a round of applause? Yes, there are some people who have that charisma and can do that, but I do not. So unfortunately, I have to wear pants and a nice shirt. And for the women out there, I'm not even going to pretend to tell you what to wear. I've been married long enough to know that's a bad idea. I will just trust your sensibilities that you know how to approach that situation. The point is, if you show up to that meeting and you're wearing jeans and a t-shirt or a polo even, you might start to feel underdressed. You might lose some confidence, not speak as clearly or strongly, and your message isn't going to be conveyed the way it should be. So you want to make sure you look the part, then you can speak the part. You know what you're talking about, and you can answer all the tough questions that the board's going to ask you. Next, a very important thing to do is conveying complex scenario in easy to understand terms. The cloud is a perfect example. Everybody knows what the cloud is. I put my pictures up there. I can get to them from any device. People don't want to know, that it's some massive server farm with virtualized hardware and scaling technologies. People are going to glass over when you say that. Just say the cloud, and they get it. It's easy to understand. I like to use the Heartbleed comic from XKCD in this case because, when this came out, I had to explain this to my boss last year when this came out, and this did the job for me, thankfully. But I think it's a really good example because it shows a complex scenario like what the Heartbleed was, but it illustrates what it does and what the impact is. So on the first two slides, someone's doing what it's saying. I'm going to request this information back from you with this many letters. It gives it back. Next two frames, it does the same thing, but the person says, wait a minute, what if I decide to put extra characters at the end and have it give more information? And suddenly it dumps all this information back. Someone who doesn't understand the technical piece behind it can see, that's bad, we better fix that ASAP, go do it. Lastly, is a concept called fuzz the chain. And I don't know who came up with this term, but I think it's great. And it means getting buy-in from one person or more people to get your idea or solution accepted by someone else. So, for example, I think a certain vice president should own an audit issue. And I know he's going to say, no, that's not me, hit the bricks, get out of here. So what I do is I go to one of my audit counterparts and I lay out my case for him and I say, this is why I think this vice president should own this issue. And they agree with me. I say, okay, great. I go to my boss, lay out the scenario for them. They also agree. Maybe I get 2 or 3 more people to buy in with me. So I call a meeting with all parties. We go to the meeting, I present it to this vice president, and if he starts to push back and say, nope, that's not me, I know I have several other people that are on board with my idea that can help convince him and champion my solution to get him to accept it. All right, so we know we have these skills. We know how to communicate and work on that. So let's go ahead and use our new skills. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to show up. Bonus points if it's on time. No matter how much you love or hate your job, just being there is very important. It's important to your team members and your boss, and also your customers. And it doesn't mean, or it doesn't matter if it's virtual or physical. Virtual teams are out there and they work great together. Lots of tools, Skype, Link, whatnot, to make sure that you're communicating and collaborating with your teammate on a constant basis. Say hi to someone. Smile. It works. If someone sees that you're in a good mood, and when you say hi, they're more likely to view you as someone that they want to work with. Of course, there's always the occasional person in your office who just hates everything and thinks you're annoying, and God, this guy's always smiling. What's his problem? But you can't let that affect your outlook, your demeanor, and how you handle your day. Just keep smiling at them and saying hi, and maybe they'll come around one day. Have manners when you're talking with someone. Saying please and thank you goes an incredibly long way. Give compliments to somebody if they do a really good job and they help you out. Maybe they give you a really important spreadsheet that you then present to your boss and gets all the information they need to make a decision. They help make you look good. Tell them that. Let them know that. Maybe your company has some sort of recognition program where you can nominate them for that. Sometimes if you nominate somebody and they get a $50 Amazon gift card, that goes a long way, and people are going to remember that. People like to be recognized for doing good work and working hard. Go ahead and just strike up a random conversation with somebody. You see somebody waiting in line, maybe at the cafeteria or down for coffee. Say hi, how's it going? What'd you do this weekend? How about that sports team? And just interact with them, talk with them, see where it goes. Maybe you're going to find out that you share something in common, and it's something you can talk about next time you see them. Just a quick side note, this isn't very effective in restrooms, so just please let people have their space there. And lastly, buy someone a coffee or a beer. I prefer a beer, but sometimes when you're at work, coffee will do. Not too long ago, I had a lot of back and forth with some of my audit counterparts, and we were on very different sides of an issue. We finally came to a resolution, and afterwards I invited them down to the cafeteria and bought them coffee and just wanted to thank them, saying, even though we disagreed vehemently on this issue, we were able to come together, present a solution that we both eventually agreed on, and we're able to constructively argue to get there. And I think that goes a long way in building positive dealings with people that you work with. Knowing you can work together even though you disagree is very important. And we spent the next 25 minutes talking about personal things, getting to know each other a little better, building our relationship. Lastly, interaction is easy. The business is important to us. It's important to our culture, our technology, and to our well-being. We need to engage with the leaders of our business and our companies to be effective at our jobs. There's a lot of bad guys out there, and we want to help keep people safe. And we talked about some tools and techniques we can do to accomplish this. You don't have to do all of them, but just try 1 or 2 of them. Smile at somebody. This is a great place to try some of these out. Introduce yourself to somebody. And who knows, maybe it's going to solve some long-standing issue that you've had at work. Maybe it's going to let you reach out to somebody that's not within your immediate group, and you start talking to somebody about something. Maybe you come up with an idea or a solution to a long-standing problem at the company. And don't make excuses. We're not shy, we're not awkward, we're not nervous. It's okay, we all are, but that's okay. We have to put ourselves out there. We can't make excuses anymore. We need to make the effort and get better. We need to keep growing and fill the significant amount of information security jobs out there, with good people, with the right people. So, any questions? No? I just wanted to, thank Wendy Nather very much for being my mentor through all this. She was great. Also, the Proving Ground track has been great. And Johnny Xmas actually is the one who gave me the idea for this talk, a conversation over beers a few months ago. I don't think he's here, but I want to thank him as well. And also our BSidesLV North and B-Sides Raleigh groups for supporting me and letting me bounce ideas off them and present this to them. So that's it. Thank you, everyone.